Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we did verse 12 last time. The verse 12 said, the self cannot be reached by speech, nor by mind, nor even by the eye. So he was talking about when it's speech, meaning all indriyas, organs of action, and not even by mind. Mind includes intellect also, and not even by the eye, all the sense organs represent. It cannot be reached by that. How can it be realized? Other than the people who have realized, they say that it exists. That's what the whole idea. That hey, this is not something somebody can point out, but you have to just have Shraddha. So the whole verse 12 was telling you about Shraddha. So now let's see what is the next one. Astityevopalabdhavyah tattvabhavena chobhayoho. Astityevopalabdhasya tattvabhava prasidati. Asti is existing. Something exists, asti. Is there. Isness. That's what it is. Iti is thus. Eva is alone. Upalabdhavyaha. So those two words are very important. Just remember that. Asti and upalabdhavya. Upalabdhavya means usko uplabdh karna, usko mil jana, or to be realized. Tattva bhavena. Tattva bhav is a little kind of charged word, and we will see what it means as the truth or reality. When you are in tattva bhava, you are in connection with that higher self. That's what it means. Cha is and. Ubhayoho, of the two. Asti iti eva uplabdhavsya. Of that way, self which was earlier realized as existing. What they are trying to tell you is, this is very confusing the way they are describing, that when we come to see the verse, then you will see that first you have to believe that it exists, then you will be able to realize it. Agar shraddha hi nahi hogi to you won't be able to realize. Tattva bhavaha, a true transcendental nature. That one para prakriti, they were actually beyond even para and para prakriti, that pure Brahman they are talking about. Okay, that's tattva bhav. Nature, prasidati, becomes favorable or disposed, means usko, you realize that. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so what are they saying in this verse? So like I said, there were two words, asti and upalabdha. So first we have to accept it, that this is the Brahma Tattva or Atma Tattva, Drishta, whatever you call it, knower of the field, as the origin of the world. And now we saw already in Bhagavad Gita, the origin is that Brahman and it has two Prakritis. So he's saying that I may not know this, obviously, but I have to believe what the Shastras or the Guru is telling me. I have to have that Shraddha that it exists. That's where asti. The first point is, without that acceptance of the existence, you can't move forward. After you have accepted it, फिर वो उपलब्ध होगा, and through the tattva bhava you will get it. That means you have to realize it as my true essence. उसको तत्व भाव बोलते हैं, जब realize हो जाता है as my true essence. So those are the 2 points, that main thing over here, asti and uplabdh. So he's saying that who is the seeker? We are all seekers, right? So in this class, if you are not a seeker, you won't come to this class. So what a seeker does, he accepts the Guru Vakya, Vedanta Vakya, and says, yes, it is there. Okay, and then he, after he accepts that tattva bhava develops, and with that tattva bhava, that reality manifests to us, or prakashit ho jati hai. Ye prasidati word hai na, it becomes known to us. That final state of it. But the journey is, that asti tattva bhava and then prasidati, or uplabdh. And so, he's saying that there is a story in Vedanta, and Tejo Mahananji told us, and everybody will understand that story. You have heard it, definitely, this story. But the way he explained it a little more deeper about that story. And the story is about these 10 people who crossed the river, and they went on the other side. And then one wise person, so-called wise, he said, hey, let's count, 10 people. We are all are there or not. You've heard the story, right? So usne count karna shuru kiya. He counted 9 and he forgot to count himself. And then he started, oh my God, 10th man, where is the 10th man? And then the conclusion was he drowned and, he didn't come back. And that's it. Sab rone lage, So that's the story. So then when they were crying, there was a wise person, true wise person came. And he said, why are you crying? So he told the story. He said, okay, why don't you guys stand in line? I'll count. So he counted and he counted 10 because, so he said, see? So he said, Are, aisa kaise ho gaya? The guy who was counting, he said, because it's, firstly, the first thing he said was, the 10th man exists. Okay? And he's saying, oh, then who is that? It said, it's you. Okay? And then finally he said, oh, me. Okay, and then he realized it was me. So you see the 3 stages. First is this man, the 10th man who was crying and all that. He has to first accept this fellow that, hey, the 10th man exists. Who is it? And the Guru said, it's you. So that's the second stage, pointing. And then he said, yes, it's me. That is the uplabd. Usko mil gaya wo. So that's the whole depth of this story. And this story is, they are referring to that the student goes to the Guru and says, hey, where is Brahman? I want to know. Or where is God? Can you please tell me how to reach God? So he's saying, God exists. He said, oh, where is God? Hey, it's you. Because God is within us, right? And then, how can it be me? And then he does meditation and all that. And then finally he says, Aham Brahmasmi. Remember, you heard of this. So see that journey? It's the same thing. That, first is acceptance. Then you work in that direction to understand it. So when you just accept somebody else's word, you have to have Shraddha in them, number one. And then it's called Paroksh Gyan because you are just accepting the existence of it. It's not your personal experience yet. Okay? And that same Asti means existent converts into me, myself, Asmi. Aham Brahmasmi, like that. So it is me. That's the whole journey, how Tejo Maharaj was explaining in this. So direct knowledge, indirect knowledge becomes direct knowledge. That's what it means. And then the other important thing that I thought was a very interesting thing, he said, there were 10th आदमी रो रहा था, right? कि भाई वो डूब गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. जब उसको पता चल गया कि अरे 10th तो डूबा ही नहीं, वो तो मैं ही हूँ, उसका सारा sorrow चला गया. They say, okay, once you know Brahman, all your sorrows go away. So in this story also, same thing happened. Once he realized, all the sorrows went away. Because he was just reminding us of the previous verses in this particular, Kathoupanishad that we studied, that it said, Tadati Shokam Atmavit, means the knower of the self goes beyond all grief. That's what we had learned. And so he was just saying in this story also, it fits. And then it also said, one verse that we did, Harsha Shoka Jahati, means he goes beyond the pair of opposite, joy and sorrow. Actually, खाली sorrow से नहीं उठता है, वो joy और sorrow से ही ऊपर उठ जाता है. That's the main thing. So, in nutshell, it is first the acceptance, then inquiry, and then you get it. So Tejo Maharaj, you were just making a point. He said that some people say, because in the world, when you transacting with the world, if you believe in God and you have some experience and all that, so you are firmly established, not super firmly, otherwise we'll be all, hum log ko moksha mil jayega, but relatively more you are established, and then you come across Nastic people and then you say, oh, will they ever change their mind? Will they ever believe in this? So Tejo Maharaj said, the first step they have to do is believe. Uske bina nahi ho sakta. And he's saying, if you take this man, the 10th man, जिसको wise man ने आके बोला, नहीं 10वां आदमी मरा नहीं है, वो है, right? समझो at that point वो सुनने को तैयार नहीं है, बोला नहीं है ही नहीं, वो तो मर गया. अगर कोई ऐसा जिद पकड़ ले, you can't do anything. Even है या नहीं है उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला, वो तो रोता ही जाएगा. So that's what it is. So the Upanishad, they're again and again saying that you have to have Shraddha, otherwise you're not going to get it. And anyway, this is the verse, and the next verse will be that, hey, once you get that tattva bhava and the blessing of the realization, then what will be your state? That will come in the next one. But this particular one is, hey, you believe, you do the inquire, and you will find it. और एक बहुत अच्छी कहावत है ना हिंदी में, ढूंढने से तो भगवान भी मिल जाता है. So that's what they're saying. ढूंढो, ढूंढो. Any comment, question? Anybody wants to add anything?
Umaji, this last line, true nature becomes manifest. Is it the same as self reveals itself?
Yeah. That's, there are poetic ways to put it, different angles to put it. Self-reveal itself. Absolutely. Because the saints and sages say that the finite is trying to know the infinite. The difference is so big that you need the grace of the infinite to get it. That's all, It kind of teaches us humility also. That's all it is. So true, what you're saying. Because we studied in all the different Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita that you can only do an effort to a certain point. After that, you have to just leave it. It's like the Nadi has, come as far as the ocean. Now ocean is taking it in and saying, okay, now you become me. The moment it touches that ocean, it becomes it. Just poetic way of saying. Yeah. And then when it's going to happen, nobody knows. So you just keep doing your effort and surrendering, and then boom, one day, hopefully, God will say, I think this person has done enough effort now. Just let me give him the experience.
God says कि ये 12 बार फेल हो चुका है, अब तो इसको पास करिए.
I know, दया आ जाएगी ना आप पे. ये इतना सब कुछ छोड़ के गीता क्लास में जा रहे हैं.
But Umaji, this is also true that no matter how hard you try, you may never get to that point.
I mean, but some swamis will say, तुम लोग पूछते हो कि हो कितना टाइम लगेगा, वो मजाक में बोलेंगे पूछो कितना जन्म लगेंगे. Don't be under hurry. In a sense, be in a hurry, but don't have that anxiety because we don't know. You can just do the effort. That's why Lord Krishna said, do the karma, result is not in your hand. It's not your department. Don't go to that department and say, I want this only. Because you're not qualified to tell.
If you want it, if you meditate because you want it, you will never get it.
Because that will hold you back, true. At the end, you have to surrender that thought also. Remember, we studied all that. Yeah. The full surrender means you can't even say, give me right now because I deserve it. अरे लड़ना शुरू कर दो भगवान से कि भाई मैंने इतना किया, मेरे को अभी के अभी दो.
See, I have a theory on this, that we all are born with certain DNA and with certain ratio of sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. And all we are doing is trying to change that ratio and accumulate for the future or even now, don't know. So, because you never lose whatever you have earned, like they said in Geeta. So, after say 1,000 lifetimes, you are very close. And so you separate from your body will still be there. But you will be looking at that and be very close to getting there. So those people who like Ramakrishna and all, They had already done all that in the previous lives.
Yeah, we talked about that. That when people get it, their previous journeys are there, and that's why you get attracted to certain things. And all of us who are sitting here studying Gita, also this doesn't happen just like that. You try.
We are moving towards it.
Yeah, you have done some sadhana somewhere, which you are attracted to this thing. Otherwise, it won't happen. Yeah, true. No, all of that is true. Yeah.
But my feeling is the ratio can be changed, but I don't know if it can be changed drastically or changed for Valmiki or others.
No, you are true. See, the ratio can be changed in humans only. That's exactly what the journey is. That animal, a lion, you cannot make him vegetarian, no matter how much you try. And the cow, you're not going to make cow eat meat. And when they did do that against the nature, that mad cow disease was because they put some meat in the cow's food. They tricked the poor cow. And there was a revolt by nature. This horrible mad cow disease started happening because it went against the nature. So they are programmed, but the human is the only one that can decide, hey, they can change their habits. It's hard, it's not easy, but we can change our habit. Some smoker can become a non-smoker, If somebody wants to change their diet, I'm not talking about just vegetarian because it's a sensitive subject, so I'm not even going to put it this way. But say suppose somebody loves sweets and all, and now they can. I know people who love sweets, but now they don't eat sweets. They changed it. And now they can, चाय पीना शुरू कर दो बिना चीनी के. After 3-4 months, अगर वो चीनी वाली चाय दोगे तो उसको जहर लगेगी. He won't be able to drink it. So that's humans. And animals you can train to a certain degree only. Dogs, cats, dolphins, you can do a little bit, but not to the extent humans. They don't even come close. So, okay, maybe we can read and then still have last half an hour. Yeah, sure, of course. Go ahead, Shireen.
Okay. He should be known to exist as Asti, and also as he really is. Of these two, to him, the seeker, who knows him to exist, his true nature becomes manifest. Though the stanza will read quite a riddle to the not well initiated, it is a direct statement to all those who know the Shastras. And this sadhu is sure that all of you in this
Yagnashala means this. Yeah.
Are today really full-blown Vedantists to whom this passage must be automatically clear.
So he's saying that he's just telling you Yagnashala. Actually, this is Swamiji called this a Yagnashala, where we are actually studying Bhagavad Gita. Is Jnana Yagna. He's saying Jnana Yagna is happening. Okay, he's just telling that if you tell somebody non-initiated, and they don't know anything about Vedanta and concept, they might get totally confused. They won't understand what we are saying over here. Just like the 10th man keep crying and saying, no, that person drowned. But he's saying that if you have known the Shastra to a certain extent, you will understand what this verse is saying. That's all he's saying.
The Atma
Chaitanya is consciousness. Yeah.
Chaitanya can be realized either as conditioned in its manifestations or in itself, and as such without any of its attributes, and therefore as a pure witness of all the states of consciousness. At many places during his discourses, Lord Death had already pointed out to Nachiketa that a meditator meditating upon the symbol of truth, Om, considering it to represent the lower Brahman, shall attain the joys of the Hiranyagarbha, and if, on the other hand, one meditates upon Om as a symbol of the attribute bliss, pure consciousness, the practitioner fulfills his meditations and actually realizes in him the absolute and the all-pervading reality. Sri Shankaracharya in his commentary comments upon this stanza in the true spirit of the very textbook.
So all he's saying over here, that people who pursue the path of spirituality, there could be two different intentions. One is to get the material things, or swarga loka, or even this world. We know that most of the time India में तो बहुत करते हैं कि वो they go to the मंदिर and they say भगवान मेरा ये काम कर दे, मैं ये चढ़ाऊंगी, वो चढ़ाऊंगी, all kind of अनुष्ठान you do, yagna yagas to. So either by doing what he's just saying, that as a symbolism, that if you do Om Upasana, it is capable of giving you both. If you want worldly things, you can get all that too by discipline and Upasana and all that. Or if you want the highest, you can get that too. In this verse, they are talking about the highest. When we talk about Upanishad, they always talk about the highest thing, okay? And then in my book, there are 3 paragraphs, and it is just talking about the textbook thing. If you have the same, we can skip it, because they are just, very technical stuff that we don't need to get into. What do you have, Shireen, as your next paragraph?
Many of you might find.
Okay, fine. Let's skip 1, 2, 3 and go to he who realizes the Atman. After 3 paragraphs.
He who realizes the Atma as the very essence of existence has realized the Atma. In thus realizing, the successful seeker in his meditations comes to contact himself with a plane of consciousness wherein he realizes the source of all life to be pure existence alone. Existence in itself is the term used to differentiate the existence of a thing from the existence as such. Existence of a thing is well known to us, but here the existence is known in its qualified or conditioned state.
So all he's telling you, remember I told you that if you analyze this world, then that existence is everywhere around us. You say, I say this book is, Shireen is, this murti is, or whatever. Everything in the end is. So isness is, but if no objects were there, isness is still there. That's all it's saying. And then I gave that light example, that you turn a light on in the room, it's illuminating everything. But if I remove all the objects from the room, the light is still there. That's called pure existence. So we, from our 5 senses and our body and all, we can only experience conditional existence. We don't have the capability. We have to go beyond our what you call senses and organs of action and all to experience that. But the journey is that meditative state that you get into by contemplating upon all these things.
It's its nature, right? Sat Chit Ananda.
It's its nature.
Sat is existence itself.
Right.
So that is you're realizing the existence.
Right.
Here.
Mm-hmm. And that existence is conscious, and that
Yes,
existence is bliss.
Yes.
And we have it within us, all 3 things. And that's why, in all these NDs and all that, people, they thought that I died and I went into other realm, but I was still so more alive than before. And from our perspective, the person died, okay? And he's gone. So as though existence hi khatam ho gaya. No. They're just in a different realm. Nothing is, that's one point. And then Sat, Chit, or conscious. So that is, existence and conscious. Third is bliss. That we, last time I was asking, our 10th grader, their 15-year-old, that when we feel happy, where do we feel happy? So they thought about it. And finally, the conclusion was in my mind. Nobody's planting that happiness from outside. It looks like that, but happiness is bubbling from within me.
Inside.
And the answer is that why do you get happy when some object comes, or I eat rasgulla or whatever? Because my craving is there, and the craving thodi shant ho gayi hai. So my nature is come out.
It is still the same bliss, but
Yes.
it's in a come and go type thing.
Yeah, it is covered by agitation.
Right.
Exactly. The science of happiness is nothing is outside, everything is within me. That's why when you see the babies, I see our grandchild, it's so easy to make him happy. You just make some funny face and he starts laughing. You have not given him any object. All of you who have grandchildren there, because the happiness is just waiting there to bubble. And 1 minute they will be crying, and then you do something funny, and within crying only they start laughing. But we get so conditioned about crying that when we start crying, it takes us days to come back to. So when that threshold becomes better, means we're getting better, I guess. So true. It's Sat Chit Anand is all within us only. Okay, we have a couple more paragraphs to read, right?
Yeah. Truth is the subjective knowledge of existence as such to be the very nature of the knowledge absolute. The pure state of being. Kevala astitva bhava.
Bhava is like feeling. Keval astitva bhava. Just only, keval that's one and only.
Is declared in the Upanishads as the essence of the self-realization moment. He who reaches the state of knowledge reaches the supreme goal of life and rises from the seat of meditation not as the very same mortal who went to it, but as the God-man upon earth.
So Swamiji used to always say that realized saints are God walking upon this earth, because they are so much in tune with that higher that they have become God themselves. Yeah. So he's just saying the pure state of being. I'm sorry, what?
I don't have any more paragraphs.
Yeah, it's done. I have just the summary of 9 to 13, and it says, this vision of the self is not an outward possessing or gaining, but an inward discovery or realizing. The sense and the mind withdrawn from their objects, the reason ends its striving. And when you withdraw, there's no reason to strive at that moment. When all our powers are thus held in the tranquil control, we completely turn within and realize the self in us. That's what it says. So we saw that in Bhagavad Gita also, that those were the lakshana, right? The characteristic. That when the senses are completely under control at will, that this person, when he sits for meditation, he can shut everything out. When we get that capacity, then we will have this realization. Very lofty goal. But like we saw, first you have to have Shraddha, that it does exist. Then we can strive towards it. Any questions?
They mentioned about, Majid mentioned about the 4 types, Shraddha in the Vedas, Shraddha in the Guru, Shraddha in yourself also, that I can attain
Yes.
the 4 of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You need all that.
Correct.
Start off with. So.
And when we do, I think it's chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, it's going to talk about 3 different type of Shraddhas that people can have too. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic Shraddha.
Yes.
So each one has some Shraddha. And when Swamiji does that topic in his videos, he will say that some people have Shraddha, money. Money can solve all the problems. Or some people have, in power. If I get this power, this position or something, I can, that's it. And then others have Shraddha in this Atma Tattva, that, hey, that is the ultimate. I want that. So it depends on, that is a Sattvic Shraddha. Yeah, depends on, you strive according to your Shraddha actually. That's what it says. It's a life force he talked about. That what propels us to do something is our own Shraddha.
In whichever direction you take it in.
Yes, it depends on the quality. So if you want to go towards the spirituality, you gotta tweak the texture of your Shraddha towards Sattvic. Rajasic is when I want name, fame, and all that. That's a Rajasic, and Tamasic is by hook or crook. I'm gonna be number 1. I don't care who I crush. So depends on what you want to do. All the choices are given. That's why I said that in our Shastras, the best thing is going to tell you things are as it is, and finally you make the decision where you want to go. Nobody needs to tell you. Even Krishna Bhagwan didn't force. शुरू में उनको जरूर बोला, उठ लड़ाई कर, ये कर, वो. End में, Krishna Bhagwan ने भी एकदम back off कर लिया. I have told you everything that I can. Now you do as you wish. He gave the full authority to Arjuna, in spite of being God, that no, you don't need to follow what I'm saying. You do. And but Arjun by then had become so in tune with God, he said, I'm going to do exactly what you're telling me to do. You know? Because all my delusion is gone, my memory is back, and I'm going to do your bit, what you say. That was it. Anyway. So I'm going to close it, and then we can do the questions also if there is still. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Okay. Any question related to these two verses that we did? Somebody still has a question or a comment? Or else we can... Joe, you wanted to say anything about your Purush Suktam?
So, this my PT instructor, he went to he left San Diego, and he has gone to Austin, and he's in digital world now. So he sent me a news about this new system that has come out called Chat PT. I don't know if everybody has heard or not. It's very new.
No, I don't know.
And what it does is you just type just like we do Google search. You put a search name in there, and it will give you everything about that item. So Microsoft is investing, I don't know, about 100 million or something. It's an AI-based system. And from March, it will be available in Bing.
Okay.
So I typed in Purush Sukta on it. And it gave me the whole page on Purush Sukta. So that's what I was trying to say.
So it is what I recall. I mean, I have to go and see all the verses, but from whatever memory I have, we did one time in Chinmaya Mission Houston, Purush Suktam. It's about it saying that God has hundreds of arms and 100 heads and all that. That's the same one, right?
Yeah, but
Right?
main thing is that this is the first time I saw it is connected with all of the Vedas.
Of course, it is part of that. I don't know exactly where it's coming
But
from.
all the other literature we read, they never connect it to the Veda.
Like what? For
I mean,
example,
they don't, the shloks that are there in Tharved, Yajurved, and Samved, and all that, those original ones, they are talking about this thing, you know. So this was the only one which I thought which started from the original.
see, there is a filmy song, if you have heard of it. All of us must have heard of Ye Kaun Chitrakar Hai. Have you heard of that song? Ye Kaun Chitra... I mean, I can't sing, so I'm not going to try. But maybe Meera ji someday can sing it. So उसमें दिया हुआ है कि विराट रूप का थोड़ा डिस्क्रिप्शन है कि हमारी तो एक ही आंख है, उसकी आंखें हैं 1000. Something like that. वो song में आता है. हाँ? So this Purush Suktam mein, it says that God has, many legs, many arms, many this, and then when you see the Virat Roop that jo dikhaya Arjun ko unhone, that was similar type.
Yeah, that was one of the pieces.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, here it says, Purush Suktam is a hymn from the Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts of Hinduism. It is the hymn 10.90 of Rig Veda, and it dedicated to Hindu deity Purush, who is identified with the cosmic being Prajapati and the supreme Brahma in Hinduism.
So Saguna Brahma ho gaya ki nahi? Like apara para prakriti together. हाँ वही है.
What
And
he's
then
saying is that there is a Vishwakarma and Purusha, and there are three things, which combine together. Well, when I go in detail, I'll know it. But
Yeah, you can
basically,
come and educate us, and maybe we can do it
yeah,
one
it
time
is
in
a
the
very
class also.
interesting summary. I mean, I can send the summary to everybody.
Yeah, we can do it in the class one time.
Yeah, it's
And
very interesting.
our teacher used to say, put it in the right perspective. She said that that Purush Suktam mein when they are saying no Bhagwan ke हजार हाथ और हजार खाली number दे दिया, it is infinite actually. He's saying they're talking about us only. See, we don't think like that. He's saying that हम ही है भगवान के हाथ और पाँव, और वो हमसे ही काम करवाता है. अगर किसको कोई काम करवाना होगा तो वो किसी को नहीं भेजे, ऊपर से नहीं आएगा अवतार लेके हर बार. Avatar comes only when there is a particular purpose, but every day का काम भी तो भगवान से ही होता है ना, कि if I need something किसी को भेज देगा वो, किसी के मन में ख्याल ले आएगा, hey, go help this person.
That is what he told Arjun.
Yeah.
I could have done it, but you do it.
Yeah, he said nimitta matra bhava savya chachin. That verse is going to come. Where he's saying,
But in Geeta, he covered this as Sankhya Yoga and Hridaya Garbha and all that. But they are like part of this Purush Sukta.
yes, because it is a
Going
manifested
even
form.
beyond.
Manifested form. It's exactly that para and apara prakriti. It's nothing but a
exactly.
manifestation gone, as a cosmos. Together.
So, is the time dimension come under para or apara?
Time dimension comes under apara. Para is timeless.
So, somebody asked me a question between science and spirituality.
See,
And I said, when science breaks the time dimension, you can go in spirituality.
See, the thing is that those are all at one place, I don't know where it was. In the commentary it came. Whether it was in Geeta or this, now I forgot. That where Swamiji said, in the physical world, if you have one concept, there always be a counter argument. And there's no end to it.
Yeah.
So, this time and timelessness, it's a huge topic and people can argue and this and that. And then very simply put, we experience timelessness also when we are in deep sleep. And, when in the afternoon, when we fall asleep for 5-10 minutes, sometime when after 10 minutes, you have seen the clock that, okay, it's 10:10, okay, I'm tired, I'm just lay down. And before you know, you're gone to sleep deep. And then 10 minutes later, you wake up, you feel like few hours have passed. You feel so refreshed. And then you look at the time, hey, only 5 minutes. That's timelessness, that we have gone into timelessness. We suddenly lose the concept of time. Right? Or the people who go into some coma and all that. When
But
they
the way
come.
I interpreted was that time and being Nashwar, it goes with that. So Kaleshwar is Shiv, who doesn't get, who remains forever.
Yeah, so here in this we learned that in chapter 7, this verse that we did today, that there is some entity which is beyond para and apara prakriti, at its pure form, eternal. What is beyond time is eternal is the same, no? When you say eternal means it doesn't affect him beyond time. That's it. So you can catch this eternal beyond time, kalatit bolo Sanskrit mein, or Mahakal. Kal ka bhi baap, that's Mahakal, right? That is. So it's the same thing. And then if you really think about it, time is just a concept in a human mind. Even this new year, okay? Fine, or New Year started, all that hoopla and all. मेरे को तो कोई इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ा. The same Suraj came out, We have given it this big hoopla about it. New Year's Eve and Falana Tikra and all that. But really speaking, was it any different? It rained the whole day. Just because it was New Year's, it was not some different day or something. So we have divided it into according to how the earth moves and the moon moves and all that. We made it. And then we divided it because, okay, our body deteriorates after a while. So we made it like, okay, this 25 years is young age, and then it's a middle age, and then some people beat that too. At 25, they look like 50, and others are 50 who look like 25.
No, but in definition of time, even Brahman, I don't mean Brahman, but Brahman
Brahmaji.
is time bound.
Oh, of course, because he that is a part of the अपरा प्रकृति हो गया ना वो.
Right.
Yeah. So वो
The
time bound तो होगा ही.
all this happened is within time.
Yeah. True. So we are tied up with time and all that, and the people who have this near death experience, हमेशा वो लोग ऐसा बोलेंगे, I was in the timeless state, but I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
Immediately बोल देंगे. And then but they say that, oh, the flat line हो जाती है ना ये, like when people don't have the heartbeat and all that. He's saying that it was just for 5 minutes, but उस 5 मिनट में तो मैं पूरा ब्रह्मांड घूम के आ गया.
Yeah.
With galaxies and वो सब देख के भगवान से भी बात कर ली और अदर बीइंग से भी कर ली, तो इतने सारे जैसे टाइम बीत गया. एंड और ड्रीम में भी ऐसा ही होता है ना. Like we have slept only for like 5 minutes deep sleep, and I already saw one dream and some whole lifetime passed in it or something. Crazy, it's totally. Or I went to India and came.
Right.
I didn't sit in some kind of rocket. I just went with my mind. So you beat timelessness in your mind too. Think about it. Yeah. Or I can go and think about my childhood. Suddenly I'm in my childhood then. With my mind. So I think that all these topics are like, it can become very confusing also. That's why we have to take Shastra ka sahara. Whatever they are saying, if you contemplate on it, after a while you'll get the peace. Because they will give some good, nice answer. Because if we just try to find it ourselves and just material scientists, jo log hardcore material scientists hai na sirf, and they don't have any spiritual backing and all that, unse baat karo na, pagal ho jayenge hum log. Because they will give ऐसी arguments and keep fighting with you, and in the end you say, okay, Baba, you just believe in what you want to, and I have nothing more to say. I think it was Sarvapriyananji who said कि the debate of निर्गुण ब्रह्म and सगुण ब्रह्म 1000 साल तक वो debate चली, अभी तक वो पूरी नहीं हुई.
Yeah, that's true.
उस झंझट में पड़ो ही मत. That's why I like Bhagavad Gita so much, because all the questions are from Arjun's जो question पूछा ना, वो हमारे ही questions हैं. And वो जिस ढंग से पूछा, जिस ढंग से भगवान ने उसको आंसर दिया, very satisfying. About Sagun and Nirgun also. Yeah.
And he summarized all of the scriptures.
Exactly. He talked about the Sankhya Yoga, he talked about Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all of that. Everything is in there.
Right.
So he did not take just one line, and he just gave us the whole buffet. So I think if we thoroughly study Bhagavad Gita, you have a very good idea what the Vedas are saying. Even this Purush Suktam, Joe,
Right.
on one hand it's a text from the Atharva Veda, you said, right? That's what you found out.
It's in all the Vedas.
Okay. So and now here if you see the Vishwarup Darshan, it's the same thing, no?
Yeah, right.
Purush Suktam, it's the
But
same thing.
Vishwarup Darshan, according to Purush Sukta, is this Purusha who did a yagna.
I mean, that both story and all.
He sacrificed himself to create the whole universe.
Okay, that may be some story, but if you see the description of it, it
Right.
matches with the Purush Suktam. What Arjun saw was infinite being,
Right.
right? And then he saw all three things happening in him: the manifestation, sustenance, and dissolution. And when he saw the dissolution, he got very scared. He
But
said,
even the pieces of the head and arms and all are described in Gita, of the Purusha.
when we come to that section, it's like a very poetic section.
Right.
He saw this and he saw that, and it uses all the terms, and also what it is a very subjective what you will see. Okay.
Right.
Because Arjun was in the war, so he wanted to see कि war में क्या होगा, because वो तो तीनों काल दिखा दिए उन्होंने उसको.
Right.
Past, present and future. Obviously Arjun would want to see कि future में क्या होगा. और future में उसने देख लिया कि all these Kauravas are getting destroyed completely. So he saw it already. He knew it in some ways. But that doesn't mean that he cannot fight now. He can go home. No, no, no. He has to do his karma still to achieve that. So I think that after we study Bhagavad Gita thoroughly, then you will see that whatever you will hear from whatever Vedas or like anything, you will be able to relate. Oh yeah, Krishna Bhagavan did mention this also. This also, this also, this also. It's really nice. Yeah. What did you say? Sorry, Joe?
No, he said he said he gave this to Surya. And then he came and gave it to Arjun.
See, some people get kind of confused about that. Basically, what Krishna Bhagavan, we already did that verse, right? We call it Vivaswan. I gave it.
Yeah, we did.
We did in chapter 4. It already came. That verse that you're talking about, that I gave the knowledge we gave the visiting card that, okay, I'm the one, So some people say, hey, why did he say Surya? Because for us, who is the most ancient?
Right.
Surya. So that actually the truth is before Surya also, some other thing was there. Or if you say that it's a cyclic thing, then Surya also keep coming back again and again because dissolution, creation. But just to make it a point to that, hey, and then Surya gave it to Manu and Manu gave it to Ishwaku and then he said that I'm giving it to you again now in its purest form because the way Swamiji explains it, that जैसे गंगा शुरू होती है ना गंगा वहाँ से गौमुख से तो प्योर होती है एकदम. Whoever, and I know Meera ji has gone to Char Dham. I have been over there, Gangotri. It's such a clear, beautiful water. But by the time Banaras में आती है तो कितना मैली सी हो जाती है, right? दिखने में. वैसे तो कहते हैं गंगा पवित्र है, but because with time, impurities get into it. So that's what he was saying. This knowledge also becomes impure in the hands of humans.
Right.
And so even though Arjuna had studied the Shastras in the Gurukul, in those days they studied both, but he didn't understand it properly. So that's why he has to give him again now in the pure form. That's what Krishna Bhagavan is telling him that I'm doing. I'm giving the same knowledge that I gave in the pure form to Surya at that time, I'm giving it to you again. That was the whole thing about that verse. What else? Okay, everybody became very silent.
They're all absorbing the Gita knowledge because it's original and pure.
Yeah, and Krishna Bhagavan said that if he's giving to Arjun pure, then
and later on, when after Mahabharata, Arjun went again to him and said, "Can you give me that Gyan again?" And he said, "I cannot, because that time I was in the pure mode."
Right.
And so even he couldn't repeat that himself.
Yep, absolutely.
So every word there is the purest.
Purest, absolutely the purest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everybody felt silent because I think I did at least. I started to think that we are so fortunate that we are getting that same pure knowledge that was given to the son and then to Arjun, and now it is coming down to us in a manner where we can understand it better. So I think that is what was going on in my head.
Yeah, same here. I felt the same.
So I think it's all our desire only to do this, and so Bhagwan creates this atmosphere for all of us to do, with Swamiji's commentary and with this book and all that, and all of yours enthusiasm. It's happening, So that's why I said that it's even coming to the class, regularly is an effort, and all of you who are doing that, it's helping the class, Because if everybody didn't come together, we won't do it. And because everybody's there, even I study it very, very diligently and with enthusiasm and, and all that. So see, it's just like a what should I say, group effort, I would call it. You know.
You are a supreme good teacher.
Well, thank you, but I'm just thinking that instead of me sitting and studying by myself, this is become just such a great thing for me also.
Right.
Because now that I know that Wednesday class is coming, I have to put everything aside previous 2-3 days, you know. And my son one day even joked, "Mom, are you doing some PhD or something?" You know. I said, "Yeah, this is bigger than that for me." You know.
It is bigger than that. My mom used to say कि जो लोग PhD करते हैं वो 5-7 साल में उनका काम हो जाता है, लेकिन ये स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ जो है ये तो लाइफ लॉन्ग चलती रहती है, और तू भी तो इट इज कहती है PhD से बहुत ज्यादा होता है.
Very such a good point. Where your mom said it really very nicely. Yes. And like if you tell the other swamis and all, they say, "Pata nahi kitne lifetime."
Exactly.
See, one of the question I got was, those who get actualized, do they still have to do something?
You know, very good question, because there is a saying. It said before this guy, this is a Zen master, okay? He said before realization मैं कुएं से पानी निकाल रहा था, after realization मैं कुएं से पानी ही निकाल रहा हूँ. So it's not that उसका job change हो गया, he's just attitude change हो गया उसका.
No, the answer I gave was, Shiv is fully actualized, but every time he gets spare time, he goes in meditation.
Yeah, and one side of Shiva, they are showing that he's married to Parvati, he has children, and if you saw that Devoke Dev Mahadev, he has the exact same problem with his children like we do.
Yeah.
बात नहीं माने, रूठ गए, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, you know, all those things, and you know, jealous of each other, and you just name it, everything that we go through, Shiv Bhagwan hote hue. They were just depicting that all those things are like in the apara prakriti, they are the very normal things. We don't get caught up in it and just, you know, turn towards para.
So we really have, thinking of para, apara, each one of us both, right?
Right.
And whatever action we do, think or do, that is para is acting through the apara.
It's a combination. In fact, it is a
combination of the two that I can even talk to you.
Yep. It's a combination actually. That is
it
happening.
Is a combination of both. So we all have that.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they were saying, that go back to your own self and say where all these thoughts are emerging from, where do they subside in? It's the witness consciousness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the electricity going through the bulb.
Yep.
Neither one can function without the help of the other.
That example is a very good one. Yeah, that they mentioned. Yeah. But the only interesting thing is that the electricity, in this, I don't know, electricity example, it is true or not. That one is totally dependent on the other. I think it is, because electricity can survive by itself, but the equipment cannot function without electricity. So the same way, the apara and para, the apara is called the lower because apara is dependent on the para.
In fact, yeah, if you go back, what is apara made of? It's the 5 elements of all, go beyond para, apara, it's the, Brahman.
Right.
And that is elements. And that's what apara is made of. And then para, because we're defining para and apara in 2 different ways. Therefore, but it's Brahman and apara is what? 5 elements of these. That's what we are made of. That's what everything is.
Yep.
Isn't it true?
Yeah, we have both, like you said. But when we talk about physical world, yeah, it's made of 5 elements. And our subtle world also is the 5 elements.
5, tanmatra. From there you make up all that stuff.
Yeah. But the interesting question is, where did the matter come from? Okay, so then there is a verse, and there is a whole example in the Vedanta that just like these makdi ko kya bolte English mein? Spider, when it makes the web, how does it make the web? Where does it get the material? from his own mouth. It's the
Yes.
saliva of
Yeah.
that makes the web. So
Yeah.
it is creating from it itself only. So the same
Right.
way. So it's not.
It's the same thing.
Sorry. What did you
I
say?
said it's the same thing. That where the 5 elements come from, and you go back to those 5 elements, Tanmatra, where the Tanmatra came from, and therefore you start with the space
Yes.
and all that.
That's the journey they asked us to take in Kathoupanishad, right?
Yes.
That Mahanatma and all that, or it said that for some vibration happened in that Brahman, and then this creation process started. First, it was in the sukshma form, all the elements, and then they manifest. Then the sense organs came in human body through the elements. Yeah, true. Everything is becoming clear now, right? So to me, it's a science and spirituality now going hand in hand. Because whatever they're saying is very scientific. Science cannot deny it.
To prove this to a scientist would be very hard.
No, it's not that
But there
hard.
are so-
Okay, yeah, suppose you say, ki, hey, how is I connected to the light? The truth is, the scientific fact is, without light we cannot see. Connect ho gaya ki nahi?
Mhm.
Without the water element in us, we cannot taste. If your tongue has absolutely no water, you will not be able to taste anything. So those are scientific facts.
Right, but where did the water come from? Then they go back. You go back further,
या
Where did the water
उसमें भी
go?
अगर कोई वेदांत जिसने बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ा होगा ना, वो ले जाएगा उनको वो जर्नी पे, because water is what, hydrogen and oxygen together.
True.
Yeah, so hydrogen in its pure form is vayu हो गई कि नहीं, gas जैसी. So vayu comes first, then there is all the answers are there. You just do little contemplation, you cannot escape the science in it. What came first and what came second is extremely scientific. As long as you go and it will match with whatever discovery they are making. That's what I'm trying to say. Even about the universe, how did our people knew about all the navagrahas and all that? They knew the characteristic of each graha. Amazing that they knew it, and the science cannot deny that those people. I mean, there is that verse that we did, Shanti Path, usme likha hai ki Brahaspati saves you from harm. And if you go in the astronomy, they tell you that Jupiter is the biggest, planet. After the sun, that is the biggest entity in our solar system. Sun is the biggest, then is Jupiter. Jupiter actually, its gravitational force takes all these debris from our solar system. If Jupiter was not there, Earth could not survive. Because all those big rocks and all will come and hit our Earth. So it saves us from harm. That's what that verse says. That Brahaspati saves us from harm. When I heard, because I saw one whole show about this, that how Jupiter is important for our survival on Earth. And then when I read this, I knew that about the meaning of this verse. And I said, wow, they knew it in those days. Unbelievable.
So is that all told to sages or rishis? It just came to them?
Yes, it gets revealed to them in their meditative state. Yeah. And if you see about any of the big discoveries scientifically also, some right patra bolte na in English mein, the right person who has done all the sadhana and all, one day something gets revealed to them. Something like Newton.
Right.
He was sitting under the tree and bong, that apple fell. Swamiji said, apple falls every day. We don't sit and say, hey, ye upar kyun nahi gaya? But he was the right patra because he had done all the sadhana and all. Usko Bhagwan ne bola, bata deta hu main. And he knew, So all these discoveries come from a higher intelligence only. It is revealed to you and you become the nimitta matra. It's not that the Gurutvakarshana Shakti was not there before Newton, right? He just discovered it and told it to the world. So all those facts are there, but who becomes the nimitta or the instrument to tell the world, that the higher intelligence decides, not us. If something is coming through you, you just thank that he made you that instrument. Okay, I guess 1:03, so lunchtime. So everybody have a great week. And
Yeah, before we log off, I very quickly want to say something totally unrelated to the class.
okay, so let me turn that off.